This week, we nerd out to the epic conclusion of Season 1 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We also talk about how much we enjoyed the new Captain America Brave New World movie. We are really excited about that new Andor Season 2 trailer and all the really fun things happening out there in the pop culture universe. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
That's the emergency alert.
This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxner.
And this week, we're back, you guys, to talk about all the fun stuff happening out there in this massively fun pop culture universe. But before we jump into that, Taylor, what have you been nerding out about this week, man?
This week I've been nerding out about Elimination Chamber. It's coming on Saturday.
Okay.
WWE's Elimination Chamber. It's a big deal. It happens every year. Basically, there's this like box thing that they put in the middle of the ring, and it has pods. And as the pods slowly open up and more people get in, you have to tag someone out with a count out with like 6 people in there. So it's pretty brutal. Usually, it's a good match.
Cool. Let's see. I'm nerding out about having a little bit of time to sit back and draw. I haven't drawn in so long. When I was in high school, I drew all the time. I took an art class, and it just was something I loved doing. Haven't really done it in a long time, except for here and there. My kids will ask me to draw something. And recently, we got a message home from my 5th grade son's school, and it was this envelope full of some information and then some blank tiny cards. And they wanted us to put notes on these little cards because the state testing is coming up for 5th grade. And they wanted us to put little encouraging notes for our kids. So I actually took those cards, and instead of just writing a few nice words, I drew some of my son's favorite characters and made it like the characters were saying the cool words.
Oh, wow.
So I drew Gon and Killua from Hunter x Hunter and told him he's going to ace the Hunter exam or something like that. And then I drew the depowered version of All Might on a different card and told him to take this test and go plus ultra and go beyond.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm just nerding out about how fun it was to draw. I haven't drawn in so long, and it's making me want to, in my free time, just start drawing again. And maybe I will. Maybe I won't have time, but maybe I will, and who knows. But right now, that's kind of what I'm nerding out about.
Right on. That's cool.
But yeah, drawing's fun. I have this really funny picture. I say it's funny. Back in the time, I was probably a senior in high school. I drew this picture of Emily, my wife, and her sisters, and my gosh, I thought I was so good. I thought it was the best drawing on the planet. And then I look at it now with my adult eyes, and it kind of makes me laugh a little bit. And for a kid, it's actually pretty good. But when I look at it now and think of how good I thought it was, it's just really funny.
That's amazing.
It's a really big picture. I'm talking maybe 18 by 24 piece of paper. And
Yeah.
it's framed and hanging in my in-laws' house. They loved it so much when I gave it to them a long time ago.
That's amazing.
But I don't know. It just keeps popping up in my memory. And I made a little screenshot of it on my phone with a side-by-side of the actual picture I copied it off of. And it's just funny. I'll have to show you sometime.
Okay.
Well, hey, let's go ahead and jump into the news. We got a lot going on this week. Over with Marvel, let's see. There's a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, a little bit of rumors. The first thing on the list here today, and I guess the way you can look at it is maybe not so great, but some Sony executives were in an interview recently, and someone was asking them all about Spider-Man, and they asked, are we going to ever see more Spider-Man and see Spider-Man join other things and things like that? And long story short, we're going to see him in movies and stuff, but they basically told him that Spider-Man will not be showing up in any TV series that isn't exclusively done by Sony based on the rights and all that. The only thing he's allowed to be in that they have their hands out of are 30-minute or less animation. So that's why we have Spidey and his amazing friends, and that's why we got the new Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But that sounds like in terms of TV, that's all we're going to get with Spidey. And that's kind of a bummer.
That's weird.
I know, it's so weird. And the only reason I think it's a bummer, because I never thought for once we'd get a show of him, but I was hoping we would see him in the new Daredevil Born Again series or something. I thought that'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool. But it sounds like, based on their rights and stuff, he's not showing up in anything that's not a movie. So that sucks.
That's why.
I know. It's not like they wouldn't make money if that happened. That's the point. So I just don't get their reasoning.
I don't either.
And a side note, and I texted you and we laughed about this, but I did finally watch Craven this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, on a 1 to 10 scale, I think I give it a solid 3.
Wow.
It had some adventure, it had some action. His powers were cool, but it was just a bad movie.
Yeah.
I don't mind change at all. I do not mind change. Obviously, I absolutely loved Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and if you don't like change, it's going to be hard to like that. But they made him a good guy, which was really weird. And Craven's a bad guy.
Yeah. He's so confusing as a character
Yeah.
anyway. And the whole family ties to everyone, like Chameleon, and I don't know. I just find him, yeah, to make him like a good guy outright is just weird.
It was weird. And it wasn't like a bad guy who was taken up for something. He was just kind of a hero the whole time. An anti-hero because he wasn't afraid to kill somebody, but he was a hero. It was interesting. It was weird. Honestly, if they took the character that they made his dad, if they made that character have his powers and abilities, that would have been more like Craven from the books. But again, change isn't what makes me hate things because I love change in a lot of things. But as a movie, I just didn't love it.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot for me to say.
How was Rhino?
Uh,
Did you like the transformation scene?
So this character of Rhino, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it and whatever, it's not the same also. He was experimented on and he has to wear this backpack that is kind of like IV stuck to him. And if it ever gets turned off, the human version of him instantly starts turning back into the Rhino version of him because of this genetic junk that happened to him. So that's one of the things. He has to have this thing attached to him or he's a giant Rhino man. The transformation looked all right, and I didn't hate the look of the character when he was rhinoed out. But again, even that character was kind of weird. It just, I don't know. This movie didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I don't think it did it for a lot of people, apparently.
Yeah. Now, on a positive side of things with Spider-Man, we both have at this point watched all of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and I thought that was amazing. How did you feel about it?
I liked it a whole lot. There's very little about it that I don't like.
I liked getting to see his final form of his suit, which is the original suit in the last couple episodes. Oh, and did you notice in that final episode, there was a scene where he's standing there overlooking the city and you can see the Watcher. Did you catch that?
Oh, no, I didn't.
That was really cool. And it was 100% the same animation style of the Watcher from What If. And it was just cool to see him there, which just adds some connectivity to this. And it was really cool with the whole time travel aspect of what was happening with that portal opening up. And it's kind of a weird paradox loop.
I had a question about that, actually.
Yeah.
But keep going.
I was just going to say stuff that he did in the lab with those other kids led to, this portal being made and led to Osborn secretly creating radioactive spiders. But the portal opened up and some stuff with Doctor Strange adds some, timey-wiminess to it. And when he fell through the portal, it went back to the first episode. And the spider that was made because Spider-Man exists fell through the portal and made Spider-Man. So it's some weird self-fulfilling paradox that he exists because he exists. And it's just weird. And I love that kind of stuff.
What I don't understand about the whole, so didn't they learn how to make the spider because of Peter's blood?
Exactly. That's a big paradox to me. How can it even be that way?
So does that mean he was Spider-Man all along?
Maybe there is a version where he still became Spider-Man just in a different way. I don't know. I really don't know. It's confusing, and maybe season 2 will address it.
It's, to me, I'm just like thinking of just, is Spider-Man like an anchor point? Is that what they're trying to do there?
Oh, that could be it. I forgot when they talked about that stuff. That's probably what it is. No matter what, we gotta have Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, it was basically, there was no way to get around it.
Yeah.
It was going to happen regardless. And they kind of said that. It's still weird, though.
Yeah. It was cool getting to see the symbiote and then how when that portal closed, a tiny little pinch of it was left behind.
Yeah, we got to see a big symbiote with the different heads and stuff.
Yeah.
That was wild.
So it'll be cool to see how they do the Venom storyline and everything. But
Question about Iron Man, the Iron Man suit. Did you notice it looks like an older Iron Man suit?
yeah, I kind of thought that too.
So does this take place earlier?
I don't know. And it's also interesting how they talked about stuff that happened in the movies, like the Chitauri invasion and all that
Yeah, I
stuff.
noticed that too.
So we start seeing these glimpses of how this was originally supposed to be tied to the MCU, but now it's not. That was for
Yeah.
sure showing up.
I'm gonna call BS.
Yeah,
I bet they
right.
tie it back in.
That would be
I'm
interesting.
calling it right now. Some way, shape, or form, this character gets pulled. Either it becomes one of the variant universes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all set up.
Yep. All we've gotten so far about season 2 is there's been some images put out there. Did you happen to see that image of Gwen Stacy that they're going to introduce in season 2?
No, but I'm excited about that thing.
Yeah, so it looks like, and it's an official image. It's on Marvel. It's on their social media. It's Gwen Stacy, and it's kind of a half and half picture where on one half she's Gwen, and then on the other half she's Spider Gwen or Ghost Spider, whatever you want to call her. It just looks really cool seeing her in that art style and knowing that she's going to show up next year.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, unlike Craven, I give this one a 9 or a 10. I really liked it.
Yeah, I give it too. The only thing that throws me off about it is the paradox of how he's
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and that I give it an 8.
Yeah, I have a feeling they'll address it because that's a big thing to not address.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. A few other things with Marvel. A handful of things it sounds like they've either been paused indefinitely or put on hold. There was going to be an Okoye spinoff from Black Panther. It sounds like that one's no longer moving forward. And the Nova special presentation has been put on hold. They did not say it's not moving forward. They just said it's been put on hold. So, yeah, that's a bummer if you were looking forward to those things. But on the flip side, there is going to be a Punisher special presentation. They officially announced that actually this morning. So,
Oh, wow.
John Bernthal's going to star in one of those Marvel hour and a half long special presentations. And I guarantee after the events of Daredevil Born Again, we're going to see some of that stuff tied into this thing with him. That's what I'm guessing. But yeah, that's going to be good.
Very.
And early reactions to Daredevil Born Again have already been posting online, and people are saying it's extremely dark, but it's also the best MCU pilot they've seen in terms of a Disney Plus series. So that's a positive thing to hear.
Yeah.
Do you remember on the Hawkeye series, the character, the swordsman that showed up briefly?
Yep.
Well, it sounds like that actor, Tony Dalton, who played the swordsman, he will be showing up in Daredevil Born Again as that character. Now, I don't know if it's a quick thing or a in-depth thing. It didn't say any of that, but he's going to be in the series. So that'll be
Oh, that'd be
interesting to see
cool.
that tie. Yeah. Also, the Russo brothers came out and said that the next 2 Avengers movies, when they start filming, they're actually going to film both of them just back to back and get it all over with. So that's going to start fairly soon, and they're just going to have it all filmed. He also said, be prepared for some radical surprises. That's the word he used, radical.
Interesting.
Let's see. With the MCU, the last thing that I saw is it sounds like they're currently developing a series called Academy X. And it's going to be, Xavier's academy where he's teaching young mutants out of school. And it sounds like this might be what leads to our eventual X-Men being introduced into the MCU. And then the last thing I have with Marvel has to do with comic books. I messaged you this the other day because it kind of got me excited, but it sounds like for the first time in over 2 decades, we're about to get Marvel and DC comic book crossovers, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It's
I'm
going to be super
sure.
fun.
I'm sure it'll be super bad.
20-something years ago, I feel like comics are a little bit different now, and they're very, I don't know, the storytelling is just so good these days, I feel like. So maybe it'll be awesome. I don't know. I hope so. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Captain America.
That's true. We both have seen Captain America Brave New World now. How'd you feel about it?
I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was the best looking Marvel movie in a while.
Yeah.
It very much was Winter Soldier, like espionage, wheels within wheels kind of storytelling, which I like in a Captain America movie. So I enjoyed that a lot.
I loved that it tied up some loose ends.
A lot of loose ends.
The Thing hanging out in the Indian Ocean over there from Eternals is how we get adamantium in this world, which is really cool. And we get to see the leader, aka Mr. Blue from the Incredible Hulk movie. We get to see him and what he's been up to. And obviously, spoilers, you
He,
guys. By the end, we saw Betty Ross show up. That was kind of cool. Liv Tyler was in this.
yep, that was cool. That was a moment.
Yep.
They didn't kill the leader, they kept him,
Right?
which was a good thing, I think.
Yep. I thought it was interesting how they brought Red Hulk into this. He didn't even know he was being brought into this.
Yeah. How did you feel about the runtime of the Red Hulk being in the movie?
You know, it was what, 10 minutes maybe? Less maybe? I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
It was not a lot of Red Hulk screen time, but the amount of time he was in there served the story for what they were trying to do, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do wonder who is the vice president in this world right now. That's who the president now is, because, you know, at the end, Ross is resigned and he's in the raft. So who on earth, who is his VP? Who's going to step up and be the
Yeah,
president
it
now?
must have been no one consequential because they didn't even address it at all.
That is a good point. I really liked Isaiah Bradley in this, and I'm so glad they explained what was happening, because in the previous, it made no sense why he was shooting up the president.
Yeah, the whole Manchurian candidate thing was pretty cool.
Right.
The way the movie was shot was just really neat to me. The way it
Yeah.
was directed, cinematography wise, I thought it was really cool. I like how they use so many gadgets because he's just like a normal human.
Yeah, that was one thing I liked about it too, is, you know, Captain America, Steve Rogers, is souped up with this super serum, and Sam Wilson's Captain America is not. So it's just one of those things where Captain America is more than just one dude. It's anyone who's willing to put on the suit and do the right thing. You don't need all the powers. Now, don't get me wrong, the powers make it awesome.
Yeah.
And his suit had some really cool tech in it. I'm excited to see how, you know, if we see him again in future things, how it'll be even more improved upon. But yeah, I thought it was a really good movie, and I'd for sure give it at least an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Comparatively to other like Marvel movies around this time, I feel like it's like one of the better ones for sure. I'd give it an 8.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the side characters. The woman who was working on the staff for the president, I cannot think of her character's name right now. She's a former Black Widow.
Yeah, she's an Israeli superhero
Yeah.
in the comic books.
I know, and I feel so dumb that I can't think of her name right now, but I really liked her. She was cracking me up.
Yeah, she was off-putting for me, actually.
When she was introduced, she was for me too. And then towards the end, she was just funny to me. I don't know what shifted, but I started to like her. She grew on me.
Maybe she'll grow on me if I see it again. I don't know. I
Yeah.
was just like really like the whole movie. I was just like, why are you so off-putting? You're so ugh.
But yeah, all in all, go see it, guys. It's totally worth it. Marvel did a good one this time around.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, over with DC, we learned about a lot of new things coming our way soon. So there's going to be some new animated things. For anyone who's enjoyed My Adventures with Superman, in that same realm, there's going to be a new one called My Adventures with Green Lantern. That one's coming soon. It's going to be that same art style, I believe. This one's going to focus on the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. And it sounds like when the story comes, that'll make sense why. And there's also going to be a Starfire animated series, and one that's called DC Superpowers, which I didn't see a lot of details on that. But who knows? Maybe it'll be some kind of maybe like an anthology type thing with all those superpowers characters from the toy line, because the logo looks just like the toy logo. But who knows what it'll be, because I saw no details.
My guess is it's going to be a show based off the toy line.
Yeah. There's also going to be some crypto shorts, and they're going to be live action, and they're going to be using the same dog from the movie that's coming up. So that'll be kind of fun. And all of these things, it sounds like, are going to start dropping around September of this year.
Jeez.
Creature Commandos, which was pretty awesome, I thought. It sounds like they're fast tracking season 2 based on how well season 1 did. So that's supposedly going to be getting here a lot sooner than it was going to be. And that's cool, because I really liked that show a lot.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And there is a live action Teen Titans movie moving forward in the new DCU, which is really cool. But on the flip side, a few things that we heard were coming have been put on hold. It didn't say forever, it just said for the time being. But there was going to be a project about the Authority, there was going to be a Swamp Thing movie, and some project dealing with Booster Gold. But it sounds like all three of those things are on hold for now. They just
Dang.
don't fit in for what they're realizing they want to do next. So that's a bit of a bummer, but it sounds like we're still going to get them eventually.
Yeah, I want the Authority.
Were you a big fan of the Arkham games?
Yes, I was.
I've only ever played one of them, and it was the one called Arkham Origins, but I loved it. It was so much fun.
Oh, that's like the worst one.
Oh, so if I liked it, I would probably really like the rest of them.
Yeah, Origins is the one that's not made by the other company that made all the rest of them either.
Interesting.
So it not only is it considered the worst one, it's also considered like the odd man out as
Yeah,
well.
which, side note, I noticed at the store the other day on Nintendo Switch, you can buy a Switch game, and it has all 3 Arkham games on one Nintendo Switch cartridge. I think I need to get it because I never had a chance to play those.
Yeah, they're amazing. I've played them multiple times. The only one I haven't played multiple times is Arkham Knight.
Okay.
That's the only one I haven't played multiple times because I just didn't love the Batmobile in it on several parts of the game.
Uh-huh.
And that part just wasn't my favorite. I mean, it was fun, but it was just like I liked more of the detective-y stuff,
Okay.
which there's plenty of that, and the last one just not as much because they added the tank.
Yep. Well, it sounds like Rocksteady is working on a similar game, but it's Batman Beyond. And that sounds really cool to me.
Yeah, that could be cool.
An Arkham style Batman Beyond game. And it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, which that stinks. I don't have a PlayStation, but I don't know. If it looks good enough, I might have to think about getting one.
Yeah, I'm saving up kind of for a PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where they're not making games anymore for the 4, so
Yeah. I still want to play Spider-Man 1 and 2. And I've played it once with you, and a student brought it to school and got to play it at school once, but not having the console makes it, where you can't play it. So I really want to play all these really cool hero games.
yeah, they're fun.
Well, over with Star Wars, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but they dropped the trailer for Andor Season 2, and it looks so, so good.
I didn't get to watch the trailer you sent me it, and I just never didn't get to it, but I'm excited for it. That show for me was a slow burn, but by the end of it, I loved it.
That's exactly what happened to me. And if I'm being real honest, I had to start it a couple of times.
Same.
And the second time I started it, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to just power through. And kind of like you just said, after around the 3rd episode, it was awesome. I was sucked in. I was needing more and more every moment. So it's really good. And then we all know how the story eventually ends in Star Wars Rogue One. But season 2 is going to be the gap between Andor season 1 and Star Wars Rogue One. And I'm just excited to see what they do to bridge that gap.
Yeah, for sure.
The trailer looked really awesome, and the music choice in the trailer was very odd, but also very awesome. So yeah, definitely go check that out.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see some Vader.
I don't know. We definitely see the Death Star in one scene in the trailer,
Yep.
and we see Saw Gerrera again in the trailer.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Also in Star Wars news, Kathleen Kennedy, who is the current president of Lucasfilms, announced this week that she will be resigning by the end of this year. She's retiring, so it's not ill will or anything, but at some point they're going to be picking a new Lucasfilm president. And you know who I hope it is?
Who?
Dave Filoni. That's who I hope it is.
Do you think it will be?
Ah, man, I hope so. The man really knows what he's doing with Star Wars. All of the best projects, in my opinion, came from him in this modern era.
Well, we'll see.
Yep. Elsewhere out there in the pop culture universe, as you guys probably know, Invincible has been going strong. Each season's about 8 episodes, and so far there's 6 episodes out of season 3. And this weekend I binged them all, and they were amazing. So if you're on the fence, or if you're waiting to binge, just wait 2 more weeks and you can binge the whole thing. But yeah, Invincible season 3 has been awesome.
Yeah, I haven't started it yet, but I'm gonna get there. We'll talk about it when I catch up.
For sure. Oh, and speaking of Amazon, did you know that Amazon just obtained all of the creative rights to the James Bond franchise?
No, I didn't.
So that means any future movie that could come will be through Amazon. But also, I wonder if they'll ever be interested in doing some kind of a series or something like that, or keep it movies. But who knows what they'll do? All I know is they've got control of it. So I also wonder if future movies might be, Amazon Prime exclusives and come out on Prime instead of the theater. Who knows what they'll do?
Yeah.
You might have known this. Did you know there's a live action Street Fighter movie coming? It's a reboot of anything that came before.
No, they're rebooting it again.
Yeah. I know they've
No, I
rebooted it with
didn't
some
know.
animated stuff, but there's a new live action movie coming, which is funny. That old one cracked me up back in the day.
This is the 3rd live action reboot.
There was some Ken and Ryu movie a handful of years back, right?
Yep. And then before that, there was The Legend of Chun-Li
Oh, that's true. That's right. I forgot about that one.
with
And then
the
there was
girl from.
the girl
Yep,
from
and then
Smallville, yeah.
yep. And then before that, it was the Van Damme one.
Oh yeah, where he's Guile. But maybe, who knows, with modern CGI and cinematography technology, maybe it'll look good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like video games and movies. I just, that's a big cast of characters.
Right,
When you look at like 15 plus characters you got to fit into a movie, how do you make a movie like that that's not hokey and weird?
right,
And that's what the last they made that Ken and Ryu movie, and that movie was really good, but there's only 5 characters in it.
right.
I guess the Mortal Kombat movie that came out not too long ago wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Maybe they could go that route. But those characters are so colorful too and interesting looking, and they're just really good character designs. I just really hope that they don't screw with them a
I wonder,
lot.
I wonder if something like this would work better with standalone movies that lead up to an ensemble movie, the way Marvel did it?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe that could even work, or even maybe it's better as a show,
Yep.
or maybe it's better as just as animation.
Or better left alone.
Yeah, just like certain video game stuff. It's like, is there ever going to be a Zelda movie? Are we ever going to really get a Zelda movie?
I
I
hope
don't know.
so. It sounds like there's an animated one in the works. They talked about a little while back. But yeah, I want a good Zelda movie. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
We got a few premieres coming soon. So they finally put an official release date for The Last of Us Season 2. And that is going to be Sunday, April 13th, 8 p.m. Central on Max. So they've finally put some time for that. And then Stranger Things Season 5, they're going to release it in 2 parts. Part 1 will be released October 10th, and then the final part 2 of Season 5, will be released November 27th. So they finally put some dates for Stranger Things Season 5, and it's going to be weird seeing these kids who are supposed to be only 5 years older from the first season, when in reality they're much, much older.
Yeah, this is the last season though, isn't it?
It is the last one, yep.
Yeah. That'll be good to conclude that for those actors.
Oh, I know. They can finally move on.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a prequel spinoff coming from The Boys, and it's going to be called Vought Rising. And this is supposed to be set in the 1950s, when the company Vought is just starting to come to be and, rise up in power. And then some of the main characters are going to be Soldier Boy and Stormfront, which are, Jensen Ackles' character and Aya Cash. But those characters are going to be some of the main characters in this series. So that'll be kind of cool to see a prequel and what leads to all this stuff that we've been watching.
Yeah, I could see that either being really good or just being super predictable and being like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're going to do it in The
Good
Boys.
info.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As The Boys goes, it'll be crazy, I'm sure.
I just want some more Gen V.
Yeah, that was a good show. I was very surprised at how much I liked that.
Yeah.
And let's see, the last thing we've got to talk about today, we know that we've got all these cons coming. Kansas Comic Con is coming soon, and then shortly after that, Planet Comic Con. But yesterday, I was freaking out when they announced that Joe Quesada is going to be coming to Planet Comic Con.
Yeah, nutty.
That is so cool. For those of you guys who don't know, he was an artist and author and all kinds of stuff with Marvel. But at one point, he became the editor-in-chief of Marvel, and he pretty much saved them from bankruptcy.
Yeah,
So a very big icon in the world of comic books. And I'm excited that he's coming to Kansas City.
for sure.
It'll be cool to have him sign my little comic creator book that I've got going. That'll be a cool name to get in there.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big one.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty pumped. But hey, that's all the news for the week. Hopefully you guys learned something new and heard something fun that makes you want to go watch something or play something or read something or whatever. Go watch those trailers we talked about. Go see Captain America if you haven't. But hey, as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
I'm Taylor Oxner.
And come back next week, guys. Same Taylor time, same Taylor channel.
Bye.
Bye.